Good morning, everyone. It is Nate G. It is just about noontime on March 5th, and we're getting quite a pull in the markets today. And I wanted to come on and talk about having a trade plan and honoring that trade plan. And this is a discussion we were having in the room this morning. And this is an important and kind of key factor to being able to stay in this game and take trades on your own based on recommendations from Nate Bear, D-Man, myself, whatever other people in this room that put ideas in, and not waiting for them to take an exit or announce a average down or whatever. Is develop your own trade plan when you put the trade on, and then be responsible for that trade plan. So for instance, as you can see, was a 1 minute chart on Microsoft. We were having a pull in the markets today, and this pull has continued. This is I'm using the replay function. This is back to maybe a half an hour into the market this morning, where we were coming into a point of control level here at this 405. I'm going to make that a 2. This 405.92 level. And it looked like things might be somewhat stabilizing. And this point of control on a much larger pattern here was showing itself, and Nate Bear took a trade based on that. And it was right at this level, just a little bit ahead of this point of control level, trying to front run it a little bit. And so when we put a trade on and we say, okay, I like that trade, I'm going to buy this week's, it was a lotto trade, right? Which means we're buying same week expirations. So right now we'd be 3 days from expiration, right? 3 days to, well, that'd be three times, but you get the idea. Three days to expiration, and you want to buy, especially if it's a lotto, right? You want to make sure that either you have a stop in mind, or you're willing to risk the full value of whatever you buy, right? So if you're taking a lotto in these, I mean, I'll just look at the cost of them right now. It's going to be a little bit different than it was when they were put on. But right now, those are currently selling for, let me see here, Microsoft, $3.50, right? And there's probably pretty similar to that, right? So $3.50 a contract. So if you put on one contract, right, you should be prepared to risk $350 on a lotto play, right? Especially considering it's a lotto play. And you need to understand that risk. Now, if I'm just putting that on here at this level and just saying, okay, I'm going to wait until somebody tells me to either sell it or stop out, then you don't have a plan, right? So I could see, okay, we're a little above POC. I'm going to take it here. I'm going to use actual POC as my stop, right? So if it breaks through there, I'm going to stop out of this trade, right? And if we play this out, and then that's your trade. So you're risking, what is that? Maybe 50 cents, roughly, give or take, 50 cents on this particular trade, and it's probably trading at a 50 delta, right? Let's see, 48, pretty close to a 50 delta, right? So if I get a 50-cent move this way, right? How much is my option contract going to move? 50-cent move in the underlying at a 50 delta. Can anyone tell me what my option price is going to move? These are same days. I mean, these are same weeks, but yeah, It's going to move 25 cents. So your option price is going to go from 350. God, my threes are really weird with this, right? To 325. Right? So you could, in theory, just risk $25 on this, and or a little bit more because it's going to break through there, right? Per contract. And then so you can figure out how many contracts you want to buy if you honor your stops here. But if you don't have a plan and you just buy and you're waiting, you're not managing your own risk. You're not managing anything. I'll take that back. See, and then what happens is we come down here, we look like we might bounce here. And we hope. We don't bounce there. We look like we might bounce here. We don't bounce there, right? And then all of a sudden, let me stop this. Stop this here. Now I want to back it up just a hair, right? Now. And then all of a sudden, instead of being down, so now we bought here, right? And now we're down here at 402, right? Now we're down $3 on the underlying at a 50 delta. Right? Now, instead of being down 25 cents per contract, if we're down $3 on the underlying, how much is our $350 contract down? That's right, $1.50. So now per contract, right? These are now worth $200. And because they're short dated, they've probably decayed a little bit, right? So without a plan, you're not controlling your risk. You're using Nate's risk parameters based on his account and his experience, which doesn't, in most cases, my guess, it doesn't match your account and your risk parameters. So when you take a trade, you have to have your own plan in place. When do I stop? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? And why? Right? And why am I stopping there? And then if later, was the plan to average down? Okay, if your plan was to average down, how far are you averaging down? And how much are you going to continue adding to this trade before you stop out? If you don't have that plan in place, in my opinion, you can't take the trade. Does that make sense? So having a plan. So when we do things like, right, and you've seen me do this, and I'll just delete this for right now because it's on. This is the trade in UNP. It's still active. This was a trade plan we did. We posted, right? We did in the room and we posted. This had stop out levels. It has target areas. It has if then statements. If it does this, we took this trade. Here, I'll move it to a 30. We took this trade in here, right? And then we got a little gap down in the morning and watched it as it reclaimed, added to it, right? And then we've started moving our way up, but that was in the plan. We didn't just watch this and hope that it came back. For instance, in UE, right? We had a trade plan up here. And we hit target number 1. You can see them over here. I'll get rid of all this extra stuff. But all right, let's go to a 15-minute chart. That'll help us. Right? we, where am I going here? Sorry, I lost my window here. I'm broken. There we are. We're up here. We were putting this trade on back here. Okay, with this beautiful 30-minute chart. Right? Actually, I take that back. We put this trade on. We put this trade on right here. We bottom ticked this thing. Right? And we had a plan. You can see it on here with all these lines, but if you look over to the right, we had our value area low right here. We had our do or die stop. We're going to stop below that red line level. We had our target number 1, and we had our target number 2. And I know a lot of people took this trade because we did it in the room, right? And what happened to this trade? We bottom ticked it. It went up that afternoon, gave us a little bit of a dip, and then within half a day, we had come up and we had hit. I'm going to stop this so it doesn't go too far. We had hit target number 1, and I put in the room I was taking off profit, a large chunk of it, and then we hit target number 2, and I was taking off the rest. But some of the conversations I had in the room was, oh, it's rolled over, should we be adding to it? And I tried to pick some up here. I'm not going to lie. It didn't work, right? That's fine. But I had already taken my profit here and here because it was part of the plan. And having a plan and following it is what we were talking about in the room last week. It's the big D, right? It's discipline. And this game is all about discipline. The ability to cut trades when they're not working, right? And take profits when your targets are hit. There were people in this room that were wanting this to keep going and didn't take profits at either one of those targets. And this doesn't always happen, but it rolled, and it rolled hard. Right? And if you're in here and you have a loss on NUE and you want to have a growth mindset, put a 4 in chat. Growth mindset meaning, I made that mistake and I need to learn to do better. I need to learn to follow my trade plan. And that's okay. And I appreciate the honesty for those of you who are putting 4s in here, right? Because it's not an easy thing to do. The biggest problem for new traders, newer traders, and seasoned traders alike, like this is such an important thing, is we all let our psychology of our brain, we want it to go higher, so we're not going to take profits at our targets, right? And sometimes it does, and we feel like a hero, and we get to type in chat 225%, right? But then the reverse is, on the way down, we're thinking, oh, it's going to bounce. I'm going to bounce this, and it's going to come back. And then, well, okay, it didn't bounce, but the next level down, oh, yeah, it's going to bounce. And then, oh, it's going to come back. I swear it's going to come back. And then, oh my God, what's happened, right? I'm nearly at 100% loss. And then, well, it's going to bounce, so maybe I'll add to it, right? We do that on the way down, and either we don't take profits at the right time when we hit them, or we take profits off too early because we've seen things roll over and turn into a loser. So our average profit is, $100 per trade because we're gun shy and we're going to take that money. And then our average losers are, in the $500 range because we let things go too far and we let theta chew us up and we hope that it's going to bounce back. And if your average winner is $100 and your average loser is $500 and you are a 50% Hell, you could even be a 70% trade. 70% of your winners could be, or your trades could be winners, and you are a losing trader. Your account is going to go bust. And so to be successful, we have to have discipline, right? And I've started calling that the big D, right? Which is kind of funny too. But you have to have discipline. And the discipline of being a successful trader is creating a plan. That's step one, right? Creating a plan for every time you click the buy button. Every time you click the buy button, you need a plan. And then the second piece to that discipline is you must follow the plan. Even if the plan sucked, you must follow the plan, right? And then if you're losing on too many trades, then you need to change how you make a plan, not change whether you're going to follow that plan or not. Right? Because this, following the plan, is the hardest thing to do in all of trading. We can teach you how to make a plan. We can even give you a plan. I mean, for instance, Inue and UNP and Uber, and I've done videos on all of those, right? Any trader that wants to learn can learn how to make a plan. You're not a trader until you follow that plan. And then the last piece would be, revise that plan. It's so hard to do this with a mouse, right? And then revise. So don't change whether you follow the plan or not, because that's going to get you into hopium, and is this going to bounce, and I'm taking off a trade too early, and that's going to screw up your discipline. Then what you need to do, if your plans aren't working, instead of not following your plans, revise your plan. Always. So if you can teach yourself, even if your plan was, if a stop out below this, great, stop out below that. That's my plan. Stopped, great, I lost $25. No big deal. And then maybe you go, okay, well, since we weren't quite to point of control, maybe my plan should be, a break of the point of control level, even though I kind of entered a little early. So you try that for a while, but you still follow your plan. Always follow your plan, because that's the hardest thing to learn, is how to follow a plan. And then you'll get better at making a plan. That's what I mean by revising. You'll get better and better and better and better at your plan and your risk management. And I didn't even get into risk management. I've done a video on that before, but right? So have a plan for every single trade you make. This is the in conclusion. Have a plan for every single trade you make and write it on your charts. Look, I mean, even if you don't have this little EpicPen thing, MSFT, 1 minute bounce using VP. Weekly options, right? $3.50 per contract. Risk. I mean, you can write this whole thing out, and we'll do a whole lesson on how to write these things out. And then when you come back to your chart and you open it up again, it's sitting right there. And you've got your lines on your chart. And you can say, oh, what was my plan? Oh, I need to stop out. Or, ooh, I should be taking profits here. Right? You can write it on a piece of paper. You can put it in a journal. But until you follow your plan on a regular basis, don't just do it in your head. And I would argue, I would maybe suggest that a lot of us in here, I wanted to say a lot of you in here, but that sounds accusatory. A lot of us in here don't even do this part. We just take one. We just, hey, that yeah, I'm in. Somebody will tell me what to do. And in many cases somebody will tell you what to do. But you need your own. So you're not asking, what are we doing here? What's next? Should I average down? Should I take profit? Right? And then teach yourself the discipline to follow your plan. This will be the hardest for everyone. And it is for every trader. And then learn how to revise your plan to make it more efficient. Does anybody have any questions on that? Yeah, we can do a lesson on. I've done a bunch of lessons on creating a plan. I'll probably do one today, but I wanted to make this video because it's important. Have a plan for every trade, even one suggested by somebody else. Follow that plan, and then learn to revise your plans to up your win rate. Any questions on that piece of it? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here, and then I'll just answer some of the other trading related questions through the rest of the session.